Start taking risks that have nothing to do with money. Take money out of the equation because that's where we get stuck. So what risks can you take in photography, in your life, that will propel you forward where you don't have any risk involved? Write an ebook. Do something that doesn't require anything but some of your time and put that out there and see where it takes you. Shoot something that you wouldn't normally shoot. Take a risk. See if that evolves your style. Start a new blog. Shoot something for a charity. Join a group. Submit to a gallery. Enter a contest. These are all things that you can do. These are things that you can do for yourself that don't cost money, where you're still putting yourself out there in a very vulnerable way. You're making yourself known to people, but you are not spending money to do it. When you succeed at small risks, you gain confidence to take larger risks. So maybe I write an ebook. I put that out there. Maybe it's self-published. Maybe nobody buys it. But maybe 2 years down the road, an actual publisher sees that book just by chance. And they say, oh, you've published a book. Do you want to write another one? This is what happened to me. I made a book. It was a blurb book. I didn't know if anybody would buy it. I put it out there into the world. I hoped it would be taken for what it is. I hope people would buy it. A couple years later, I end up in this little meetup, a photography meetup with a publisher. I have a conversation with him. I don't think he remembers me. A year after that, I get an email from him. Will you write a book? I say no. I say, no, I won't write a book because this is not the book that I want to write. I don't want it to be about this topic. However, I've been pursuing this goal that I have to write a book. I would love to be a writer. So here's my book. I send him my draft. I say, I've been working on this for the last 2 years. If you want to publish it, I would be honored. A month after that, he says, okay, I'll publish your book. That's how dreams become reality. You work at them. You wait for them to happen. I'm pursuing this. I'm pursuing my writing career all the while, not knowing if anything is ever going to come of it, but hoping that something does. And then through random chance, by putting myself out there, by saying no to something that I didn't want to do, I was able to do one of my biggest dreams. I was able to complete that and put that out there. This is one of my big risks this year. It's called promoting passion. This is my new blog. It is my new brand, essentially. This is what, I like you. This is what I'm putting out there into the world, and I am just hoping that people like it. I don't know if they will. That is not my number one goal, to have people like it. My goal is to feed my creativity and my inspiration and hope that I can promote that in others. I'm rebranding. Rebranding is an incredibly terrifying thing to do. You become known for one thing, and then you say, actually, let's take a step back, and I'm going to be that, but I'm also going to be something else. And people say to me all the time, you can't do that. You are a photographer, you do these types of photos, this is what you have to do. And I say, yeah, well, 5 years ago I didn't do that. I was somebody else entirely. So why can't I be somebody else now? Why can't I keep growing? So yes, I will always do these pictures. I am so passionate about photography. I love what I do. But there's more to me than that, than just those photos. I want to write. I want to be a writer. I want to write a novel. I want to write blog posts. I want to be a motivational speaker. There's so many things that I want to do with my life that aren't contained in this box of photography. So I rebrand myself. I take a risk in doing something that I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if anybody will accept it, but that's what I want to do. So these are some of the big concerns with taking a risk. I won't know how to move forward. I come up with this all the time. I have this big risk that I want to take. Okay, I want to do a documentary. I want to do this blog, but how do I do it? I mean, literally, what steps do I take to make that a reality? If I'm making a new blog, how do I make that new blog? What if everybody reads my old blog, but they won't come read my new blog? All these fears start to creep up, and then you say, well, there's no point in even figuring out how to do it because I'm safer where I am right now. My plans will fail. So I have this new blog. Maybe nobody reads it. Maybe after a month it's dead and nobody's following my photography anymore. Maybe that's the case. I thought a lot about this before I did it. I thought, there is no guarantee that a single person's going to click on this blog, and then what? What do I have? But the answer to what I have is I have what makes me passionate and what makes me happy. And I believe that if you put that out there and you tell people, this is who I am, this is what makes me passionate, other people are going to be passionate about that as well. My followers won't follow me anymore. I think that a lot of people have this fear that if you have anybody who looks at your photography and you do something a little bit different, they're not going to be okay with that. But that's okay because you ditch them and you say, that's all right, I'm doing something for myself, I'm doing something new, and if you don't like it, then you stay behind, but I'm gonna find somebody new who's going to follow this because I'm going to create a community around what I do. I will lose money. That's probably true. In my experience, it's always been true. Anytime I start something new, I lose a little bit of money, but then I try to make it back later. I won't know how to move forward, but you won't go anywhere if you don't try. So if you stay right where you are, there is no chance of moving forward whatsoever. My plans will fail, and they probably will, and I can almost guarantee you that they will. But there's no better way to learn. Okay, wooden beds don't sink. This I know that because I had to try it in order to understand that. My followers won't follow me anymore, so then you get some new ones. You find people who are willing to understand your passion, who are willing to follow you on that journey. And in the end, it's not about the amount of people following you, it's about the quality of people following you. Are those people engaged with what you're doing? I will lose money, but an investment in your future is rarely a mistake. It is so rare that I have put money into something in any really significant way and then had that be something that was a complete waste of my time. What makes me qualified? I find that your confidence in yourself is all the qualification that you need to do anything. If you believe in yourself, other people will believe in you too. And I think that confidence gets you far further in life than anything else, than money, than status. I can go into a gallery and I can say, hey, I've been in 20 other galleries and I'm awesome, so do you want me? Maybe they'll say no, because who acts like that? But if I go into a gallery and I say, you know what? I don't have any experience and I might not know what I'm doing, but I do what I love, and I would love to be able to share that with you. I would rather work with somebody like that than somebody who has a lot of money or is going to be arrogant about what they do. To achieve the career you want, you must not feed a career that you don't want. So, if you are saying yes to all the jobs that you don't want to be doing, how are you ever going to move forward to shoot what you do want to shoot, or to do what you do want to do? And this isn't easy. It's not like this can happen overnight. But the more you start saying no, the more you can say yes in the future. This is one of my favorite little quotes here. You can't stay in your corner of the forest waiting for others to come to you. You have to go to them sometimes. So this is a little Winnie the Pooh quote. They're my favorite. I look them up about once a week because they make me so happy. But I think that this is such an important thing. You can't stay there hoping that other people are going to help you, that they're going to pull you out of a hole, that they're going to pull you out of the darkness. You have to go to them. You have to find that light, and you have to be able to say, I did this for myself. I am confident in what I'm doing, and then people will be willing to help you. Don't underestimate the value of doing nothing, of just going along, listening to all the things you can't hear, and not bothering. So that's another Winnie the Pooh quote. And I truly believe that if you can just take a step back and appreciate what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have, you are far more likely to move forward. When you hear the silent and see the invisible, you discover endless ways to make your dreams come true. So the moment that I take a step back and I say, I don't know how to make a documentary, but you know what? Stop. It doesn't matter that I don't know how to make a documentary. I know how to do so many other things. I know how to inspire myself. I know how to inspire others. I'm going to take that and I'm going to use that to achieve my goals and my dreams, and hopefully those will be the same dreams and goals that other people have. How can you push yourself one step further to reach the goal that you have set? So I mean literally, think literally about this. What are the solid, concrete things that you can do? These are the stepping stones that you're going to take. These are the things that might not be immediately visible. Maybe you're trying to walk across water, a river that is really, really harsh, and you don't know how you're going to get to the other side. Maybe all of those stepping stones are hidden under the water. So if you never put your foot out and you never dip your foot in that water to feel, to see if there's anything there to help you, you will never know. You're just going to see this river that looks incredibly impossible to cross, but it's not. There is a way to get across it. You let others know how passionate you are, and you organize your thoughts. So when you do this, when you take a step towards saying, I am passionate, I am inspired, other people believe that. You realize that if you don't take action, it may never get done, or someone else may do it. So how terrible would I feel if I've got this great idea for a documentary, I am so passionate about doing it, and then I let somebody else run with it, and they take that idea and they do it. then my idea is gone. My dream has been stolen by somebody else. And I can't let that happen. This is my dream. This is my goal. I want to make that a reality for myself. So step 1, write a proposal. This is how I really go through this risk-taking process. I write proposals constantly. I wrote a proposal for my documentary. I wrote a proposal for my business. I wrote a proposal to galleries to be able to get into galleries. This is just my personal step-by-step process of how I go about doing these things. Whether it's for a business idea or a photo shoot, for someone else to see, or just for yourself, you'll be able to be more focused and organized if you write it down. I find that when I write things down, I remember them better, of course. I feel more connected to it, and I feel held accountable for it. So I write all of these things down in a proposal. So you don't need to read this. It's just my personal proposal for my documentary. So I have this documentary written with an overview, segment 1, segment 2, what the documentary is actually going to look like, the goals of the documentary, all the little details that I need to know to move forward and that somebody else might need to know to help me move forward. Step 2, write a materials list. So I am making sure that I can write a list of things that will help me. Okay, I'm making a documentary. What do I need to do? What materials do I need? I need cameramen. I need camera equipment. I need people to be in the documentary. I need travel expenses. I need to be able to get places to shoot this documentary. Understanding every single item that will aid in your success will give you solid goals to work towards. So if I know that I need a cameraman, maybe I'll contact some cameramen. If I know that I need a plane ticket, maybe I will do a fundraiser to try to get that money to get the plane ticket to film my documentary. Step 3, reach out to those who can help. This part is scary because if you're inviting someone else into your dream, but you don't have to think of it as asking for help. Think of it more as spreading the joy. So I'm making a documentary. I'm doing it because I think it will help people. So if I kept that to myself, then I would never be putting that idea out there that I believe will help people. And that in itself could be selfish. So why don't I try to make it a reality so that I can help more people than just myself? Step 4, go for gold, but don't let it break you. I think that a lot of people get really torn down by the fact that things don't go perfectly the first time or the second time or the 100th time sometimes. But that doesn't mean that it should let you fall to the ground and feel like you can't get up again. So I am trying the best I can, but if it doesn't work out right away, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with trying again and again and again if my dream is big enough. Will you fall or will you fly? This picture is a really interesting one in my portfolio because I always ask people, do you think that he's coming up or going down? And people always have different answers. And then I tend to judge you and I say, are you a glass half empty or a half full person? I actually think he's falling though. So let's see. Sometimes we must fall in order to learn how to fly. So that's the beautiful thing about it, is that we're not all going to start out rising to the top of the pile and finding success. But if we do fall and we understand what it feels like to fail, then we understand how good it feels to succeed. Never mistake falling for being defeated. It's just the first step to success. Risk-taking. Shoot what you don't want to shoot. So if you're shooting what you don't want to shoot, then you're much more likely to understand what you do want to shoot. This is what I started out shooting. So when I picked up my camera, I moved to Los Angeles, I did headshots. And these are my headshots. And I look back at them and I say, thank goodness I didn't continue with my headshot career. It didn't make me happy. I didn't enjoy doing this. These are just my friends. I mean, I didn't get paid. But these were things that I thought I had to do to be successful until I realized that there is nothing that you have to do to be successful. I tried fashion photography a few times. I decided, why not? I'll get some wardrobe together, I'll get a stylist, I'll get all these things and see if I enjoy it. And if I don't enjoy it, then at least I know for sure what I don't want to do. So I did fashion photography. I don't enjoy fashion photography. It's something that I know. Am I closed off to that idea? Not at all. Because maybe there's a way to do it in my way that somebody will accept. But that's not my goal in life. That's not my passion. Refuse to shoot what you don't want to shoot. So saying no to the things that you don't want to do. This will help you become the photographer that you want to be. So I started out with those headshots. I did a few little fashion things. I just did anything that I could to try to find my voice, to try to figure out how I was going to form a career to be able to make money. So I'm doing these things that I don't want to do, and I'm saying, I don't like it. I don't want to be this photographer. If I was going to be a photographer that did these headshots, then it would be the same as me sitting at a desk job that I don't want to do, or just doing anything that I'm not interested in. So why do that? So I started to form a career that I love, knowing that anybody can form any career that they want if that is their passion. Say no more than you say yes. Be confident enough to say no. It's an extremely scary thing to do, to turn to somebody and say, I'm going to refuse your money because in the future, I don't want to have to build my career based on those jobs. Understand what you have to give. When you know what makes you unique, you know how to provide for yourself and others. So I'm saying to myself, what can I give to you? Everybody sitting here right now, what can I give to you that makes me unique? And that's how I'm teaching this class. I'm saying to myself, I am doing my process, start to finish. I don't know anybody else's process. I don't know how other people do things. I know that probably I do things a little bit differently. And I'm going to teach that. I don't know if anybody wants to learn it, but I'm going to teach it because I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about what I do. So I'm taking that into a career. Channel that into a deliverable. So what I call deliverables are your products, things that you can give to other people. When you can turn your uniqueness into a tangible item to give to others, then everybody is helped. Because what we need more in this world is people who are unique, people who aren't afraid to be themselves, people who aren't afraid to say, this is me, I'm giving it to you, take it or leave it, and I hope you can do something with that. So what do I hope to further? Passion, inspiration, creativity, storytelling. This is me in a nutshell. This is what I want to do with my life. I want to give that to you, and I hope that people will accept that. But I can channel that into other things. Prints, photo sessions, my blog, charity, workshops. So promoting passion, that's my blog. That's my blog that I am so incredibly passionate about. It's a new blog that uses photography and creativity to make larger points about passion, inspiration, creativity, and confidence. So I'm using who I am at my core. I'm a photographer. I love creating photographs. I use that as a metaphor, in a sense, for bigger things, for inspiration, passion, motivation, confidence. I am building all of those things into what I do. So I create videos. Every single Monday, I put out a new video, and that is my goal this year, to create promoting passion videos, things that I can release on my blog, content that I hope will help other people, because I am happiest when I am helping somebody else. So how can you help people? You, right here, right now. If you had to teach something to me right now, what would it be? If you had to give something to me, what would that be? So teach me something. What if you were confronted with having to teach something to me right now? What would it be that makes you unique, that allows you to teach something to me? So Jen, let me ask you, what do you have to teach me?
Besides prancercising?
Yes, besides prancercising. In case anybody caught that on the break, we were prancercising. Yeah, besides that.
Maybe embracing colors that you don't maybe enjoy.
Exactly. That would be the very obvious disconnect that we're having right now in who we are as people fundamentally. And that's why I asked you that, because we are very different people, but you have a passion and a vibrance about you that perhaps I don't have in the same way. So I can learn from you. And the sooner you understand what makes you unique, you can take that and give that to other people, and everybody benefits from you understanding what makes you you. Storytelling and confidence. Now, I want to talk a little bit about something that I am terrified to talk to you about, that I might cry about, because I'm really scared. So last year, I went to India, and I taught a workshop. So I was teaching photography to survivors of human trafficking, and I did this workshop hoping that I would be able to teach storytelling and confidence to a group of women who perhaps didn't have a lot of that in their life. So I went to India. And I started teaching this workshop where we did storyboards. We brought in found materials from the streets, we made storyboards. We were able to take nothing, trash and leaves, and make it into a full concept for a photo shoot. And they started to understand the importance of telling your own story. I taught them how to use a camera. So I got a camera for them. I bought that. Just a cheap camera, something that would be good enough for them to start the foundations on. We brought that over, and I used that to help teach. We started doing self-portraiture. So I started saying to them, okay, what I want you to do is take a picture of yourself, telling whatever story it is you have inside of you. So we sat down, we wrote stories, we went out shopping, we let them buy anything that they wanted from a market that would be their costume, who they felt they were on the inside to be able to tell this story. So in this case, this was one of the most beautiful stories. She said that she wanted to be a peacock. So she bought this bird costume because she wanted to fly. She wanted to be better than she was. She wanted to move on, move forward in her life. This one was an extremely emotional self-portrait because she felt that all her life, people, men in particular, were bringing her down, were pulling her away. And she wanted to do a self-portrait that showed that. So we all put our handprint on her fabric that she bought. And this was signifying that there are people in her life who are trying to attack her, trying to bring her down, but she's strong enough to overcome that. And then they photographed me. So they did their self-portraits, and then they dressed me up, and we got to do this really fun photo session where they took my picture, and they interpreted me as a teacher, as an educator, in a way that they thought made a lot of sense. So the workshop ended, I went home, and I kind of felt this emptiness afterwards, like, what am I going to do now? I mean, how do you move forward from that? And so I started talking to a couple of people. One is my friend Laura, who runs this organization, Blossomy. And this organization teaches all sorts of workshops. They bring instructors into Kolkata, India, which is where I traveled to. And they bring them in to try to teach all sorts of art forms to these survivors of human trafficking. We go into shelter homes, they teach workshops, and then hopefully everybody involved can benefit. So that's what I was doing there. But I sat down, I had this conversation with Laura. I had this conversation with a really special person named Dave Junian, who a lot of people know. He runs an amazing convention called After Dark that I get to go to in April, and I'm so excited. So I sat down with him, and he said, so you want to do more, so why don't we just do a whole school? Why don't we just go back to India and do an entire photography school for these people, for these women in shelter homes who are susceptible to human trafficking, who have been through the human trafficking system? Why don't we do that and see how big of an impact we can make? He's a dreamer. He's somebody who has big ideas. And I said, yes, let's do it. Let's go into India. Let's make this school, and let's make it self-sustaining. So we're creating a school that that's bigger than just a workshop, bigger than just teaching a small group of people for 1 week and then leaving and never going back. We want to create jobs for these women over there. This is my passion. I've been there. I'm going again in just a couple of weeks. I'll be back there teaching another workshop to a new group of students. But at the same time, I'm going to be preparing to start a school. It's going to be a school and studio combined. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because we actually have a video about it. And I'm showing you this video because I'm so sorry, but okay. We're hoping to raise money, $25,000 to start the school. So sorry.
Okay, Brooke.
Thank you. I hate asking for money. So we're starting a campaign, and we're hoping to raise $25,000 to start the school in India. And I'm just going to play the video.
Everyone has a story to tell. It might be a little story or a big story. It might be personal, or it might be completely made up in your imagination. But no matter what it is, everybody has a story to tell. The only problem is that not everybody has a way of telling their story. Last year I traveled to Kolkata, India, and I worked with shelter homes for survivors of human trafficking. When I was working with that group, I was able to teach them photography, but not just the technical aspects. I worked with them on storytelling and how to put their vision out into the world. It's all about self-confidence and finding that inner voice and sharing that with whoever will listen. When I was there, I realized something very important, and that was that there are a lot of people going through these shelter homes, but they don't really have anywhere to go after. By teaching photography to these students, they're able to take that skill into the real world, not only with their newfound confidence, but technical skills that can help them with a career later down the road. Together with the amazing organization Blossomy, who works in Kolkata, India, along with Dave Junian, we're putting together a school for survivors of human trafficking and for those who are susceptible to it. Our goal is simple: to create a school that's self-sustaining, something that will teach these people how to take pictures, the mechanics of the camera, as well as self-confidence and storytelling, but make that into something that can be a true career. So this school will also have a studio attached to it, and that studio is going to provide all of the income for the school. That way it is self-sustaining. The way that the school works is simple. It's a 5-month program, and anyone who takes that 5-month program gets a certificate at the end. That says that they've completed the program and they understand how to work a camera and they're equipped to take other people's pictures. If those same students decide to take the same program again, they become teachers' assistants. This way they're learning the material all over again, but they're also helping to facilitate that material to new students. If those students complete 2 semesters of the school, that means that they can now re-enter the school as a teacher. That means that they can get paid for photography. So how are they getting paid? Well, that's where the self-sustaining school comes in. There's going to be a studio attached to the school. The studio is going to be a real-life, high-functioning studio creating portraiture for clients. All of the income that's generated from there goes to pay the people working at the studio as well as the teachers who are in the school. Once a student completes their schooling, they have the option to either become a teacher or go work in the studio, thus expanding business. Human trafficking is a huge problem, not only in India, but everywhere around the world. And this is just one small place where we can start to make a difference. I'll be traveling back to India at the end of February, and I'm going to be teaching that same workshop all over again to a new group of students. But while I'm there, I'll also be setting up the beginning stages of the school, trying to set up all of those logistical details, like where are we going to rent the space, what is the studio going to look like, how are we going to get equipment, and all of those important things that we have to consider. We're asking for a donation of $25,000, and that's to get the school up and running to make sure that for the first year we have enough funds to keep it going. That money's going into so many different things, like paying rent on a building to have the school and the studio combined. That's going into things like desks and computers and cameras and education. It's going into things like rent for the studio space and the school, desks, chairs, computers, cameras, as well as travel expenses and a stipend for the educators who will be working in the school. This is the amazing thing about having a community, is that we're all like-minded and we understand the power that an image can have. It's not just something that we share on the internet and we hope that other people enjoy. It's something that comes from within. It's something that is so incredibly powerful that I feel that everybody should have the opportunity to share that power from within to the whole world and make a difference in that way. So I really hope that you'll join me in this project. It means so much more to me than I can express right now. And I know that if everybody in this amazing community just donated $1 to this project, we could fund it. And that would make such a difference in so many people's lives. From myself, Brooke Shaden, Blossomy, and Dave Junion, we want to thank you so much for considering to donate to this project, and I hope that you have a beautiful and inspired day.
Okay, so I've calmed down now, and I'm not going to cry anymore, but I wanted to end the class like that, and I was really nervous about it, and I thought I was up all night last night thinking about it, about how much I hate asking for things, especially for money, but this just felt right. And so I wanted to put it out there, and if it's something that you think that you might want to help with, then I would be so incredibly grateful. And if not, that's okay too. And I still hope that you've had a really, really good class and that you feel inspired and that you're passionate and that you go out and create anything that you might want to create, no matter what it is.